Okay, all right. So this is Thursday's class where we're going to just go over some vehicle finance old questions from old exams, or in this case, last year's exam. So I already gave the people who are in here in person and at home a couple minutes. So if you're trying this at home watching the video, pause the video right now and try this problem. All right, how did it go? Let's go through it. Okay, so calculate the amount Hao Jun will need to pay after taxes. The trick to this question, this is a 3-mark question. The trick to this question is you have to put together all of the cost, right, the before the taxes. So I'd add up the parts, $650 plus $10, so that's the parts cost. And then the labor cost would be, I'd add 1.5 to 0.5. And then that's how many hours, and it's $85 per hour, so I times that by $85 per hour. And there we go. So there's my, you don't have to write this obviously, but there's my parts, there's my labor, just like we did back in, I think, was it lesson 1 or lesson 2 was maintenance? One or the other. So back in one of the first lessons of the chapter, we had a bunch of questions like this in your assignment. Okay, so now I'm going to punch buttons. So 650, let's see, 1 headlight, 1 radiator, and 2 hours of labor. So 650 plus 10 plus 2 times $85. And this is what we called, anybody remember what we call this? This $830? That's our subtotal, right? Now we need to figure out how much it is with tax. You pay both taxes on parts and labor, so it's $830 times 1.12. So there we go. $929.60. Now, why is this worth 3 marks? I think you get a mark for just figuring out the labor part, that you have to add those together and times by 85. Then I think you get a mark for getting to this number, and then you get a mark for getting to that number. If you decided to do something crazy, like only put tax on parts, and because you misunderstood the lesson and you thought that there was no tax on labor, then you could probably get 2 out of 3. Which would be, I think, the same thing you'd get if you forgot the taxes altogether. Because I think you get a mark for this part, a mark for getting that number, and then a mark for the final answer. So that's why this guy's a 3-mark question. Any questions about that one? Nice. Let's try one that's maybe a little tougher. Oh, question. Okay, I use brackets because these 2 numbers have to be added before you times, right? You have to get the total amount of hours that they worked in the car times $85 per hour. If you don't like using the bed mass brackets, you could just add those numbers up first and then just write me the equation. 650 plus 10 plus 2 times $85. Because you do realize these 2 numbers are just going to add to 2. That's fine too. Okay. All right, next. Oops, that's too far. Question 3. Okay, so once again, guys at home, I'm going to pause the video if you're watching it on video. Try this question, and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, let's go through this problem. So, what do we do for this? Well, first we calculate how much tax this person's paying. They pay $5,000 for the car, plus, remember that the fact that they bought this car privately means that they pay no GST. They only pay PST, and they pay the PST based on what's bigger, the price they buy it for or the book value. And since the book value is bigger, they're going to pay 7% of 5,500. Okay, now, how about the safety inspection? The safety inspection, if you look back in your notes, safety inspection, you pay GST only. How many people got that? So that's GST only on a safety inspection. So $45 times 1.05, right? Because you want to pay all the $45 plus 5% of it. Notice here, I'm only paying 7% because this is not the actual price I'm paying on the car. That's just the tax I pay is based on that number. So I pay the price of the car. So here, I'll write this. Again, I wouldn't expect you to write these words on your answers. But this is the price. This is the tax on the price. And this is the safety plus GST. So there we go. Now we punch buttons. $5,000 plus 0.07 times 5,500 plus 45 times 1.05. I get $5,432.25. So if you forgot that there's that you have to pay the tax on, I think it's basically you get 1 mark for just adding them together. You get 1 mark for figuring out the tax properly, and you get 1 mark for figuring out that you only put GST on the safety. So there's where your 3 marks come from. So basically 1 for the final answer, and 1 for this, 1 for that. Now if you added them properly but you forgot that you put the tax on this number, they'll give you 2 out of 3. If you just added $45 and didn't do any tax, or you accidentally put PST on it too, they'd take off 1 mark. So there you go. All right, next. Mary wants to buy a new car for $22,210. The dealership has agreed to accept Mary's old car with a trade-in value of $1,340. Calculate the total cost to purchase the new car after taxes. And this one's only 2 marks, so we'll just give you 2 minutes. Okay, guys at home, pause the video and try it. Okay, we're back. And let's see. So, how do we do this question? Really, the trick to this question is you have to know when to put the taxes on it. If you calculate the taxes on this vehicle and then subtract the trade-in value, you've done it wrong, right? Because they can't tax you on money that you didn't actually spend. So the actual price of the car to you is this. So you get that answer, and then you put the taxes on it. Now, this is a new car, so what taxes do new cars have? And the answer is they have both. So I guess there's the other trick to this question. You have to know that it's both taxes. So I'll times that by 1.12, and then there you go. So I'll get that subtraction done first. $22,210 minus $1,340. So this number in the bracket here is actually $2,870. If you got that far, you get 1 out of 2. And then if you do the taxes right, you get the other mark. And there we go. The final answer is $23,374. And okay, we've had this conversation many times in this course. If you look at your calculator, it says this, and if you stop there, you're going to lose half a mark. Why? Because you need the 0. It's money, right? It's a price. There you go, 40 cents. There you go. They always make sure on the provincial that there's a couple of answers that'll work out that way in your calculator that involve money. So if you don't do it right, they'll get you at least once. They want to make sure that you leave this course being able to write down money like a person who knows how to handle money. So there we go. That's how we do that one. All right, moving along. Please, guys at home, if you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully you're working along with me here. Question 20. Choose the letter that best completes the statement below. It's only 1 mark. We'll give you 1 minute. I don't think I'll even bother pausing the video. Give this one a think for a minute, and then pick your right answer. We're going to talk about that. In fact, here we go. Hold on, sorry. There we go. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. There we go. All right. Did you pick one? Here, I just got that from Google. Can I make that bigger? Doesn't seem to want to let me make it bigger. Come on, make it big. Go big. There we go. There we go. Let's go big, go big, go big. 16. There we go. Can you read that? Let's see, I can go even bigger. Now this is one of the joys of a provincial exam. Your teacher doesn't make the exam. Your teacher doesn't get a chance to even see the exam before you get it. And sometimes a question comes from out of the blue where it's like, what the heck is that? We never talk about layup insurance because here in Manitoba, and this is the part that absolutely just blindsides us, here in Manitoba, we don't think you can get extra layup coverage. What it means is you get extra coverage for your vehicle if it's damaged when it's not actually being driven. So that's what layup coverage is. So for example, say that you lived somewhere where there's a lot of break-ins on cars. Like, there's just lots of vandalism, lots of theft in cars. You could get layup coverage in addition to the regular insurance, and it has a smaller deductible. Like our usual deductible if your car gets vandalized is, either $200 or $500, depending on what your normal deductible is for an accident. Here in Manitoba, layup coverage is included and there's no extra option. But in other provinces, namely Alberta and British Columbia, and of course, we do follow a Western Canadian curriculum, which means that, we're common curriculum all across Western Canada. This is something that they probably talked about in class. So it ended up, boom, on our exam, when meanwhile, nobody that I talked to had ever talked to their students about what layup coverage is, because you can't even get it here. But that's what it means. It means you get extra insurance coverage for when your car isn't moving. So if something falls on it. Oh, here's another reason why in Manitoba you don't get layup coverage. Notice that falling and flying objects would include, oh, there it is. It would include hail. They don't give you extra hail coverage here in Manitoba because hail happens a lot here. And they don't want to have to pay extra. Or in other words, they don't want to have to give you a break on your deductible for hail damage. They want you to pay your normal deductible. Otherwise, they'll go broke because hail happens here a lot. We are, of course, we live here in Tornado Alley, right? We can get some severe thunderstorms here in Manitoba, so we don't get extra hail coverage. In Saskatchewan, it's hard to even get hail coverage, period. So anyway, C is not the right answer. So really it comes down to A or B. And D, of course, is not even legal. You can't drive with no insurance in Manitoba. So C is out, D is out. What do you think? A or B, guys? Who remembers the number from our discussion in class? Of course, I did tell you that your test would be open book. So you could have looked it up. A or B, what do you think? Is twice a month okay to drive to school and still be covered? And the answer is yes. So he should go with pleasure to save some money. If he was driving to work more than twice a month, or driving to school more than twice a month, or actually I think the number was 4, wasn't it, from our notes? If you were driving to work or school more than 4 times a month, which is basically more than once a week, you should be going for A. But if it's only twice, save some money, go with B. Right? Right now, my other vehicle is sitting at home with pleasure insurance because my wife and I are carpooling this year. All right. So that was fun. We get to talk about a type of insurance that you can't even get here. Question 21. Tia is leasing a new truck. Her monthly lease payments will be $349 after taxes for 4 years. So remember, after taxes means the tax is already in that number. Her down payment is $2,000. Calculate the total cost of leasing for 4 years. Okay, I'll give you a couple minutes. I'll pause the video. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. So the lease payment already has taxes in it, so it's $349. It's monthly for 4 years, so times it by 4 for 4 years and times it by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. And they made a down payment of $2,000. So that's it. That's all they want for this question. I think you get 1 mark for adding the down payment and 1 mark for figuring out the 48 months. So that's your 2 marks there. $349 times 4 times 12 plus 2,000 is $18,752. So that was question 21. That's a fairly easy one. All right. And that's all I got. That was all the questions that were on the last provincial exam we had before COVID made the world go crazy and we don't have a provincial last semester and this semester. Okay? Oh, I guess this will be the 3rd semester in a row, right? This is from January of 2020, yeah. So there we go. So this is the 3rd time we've had no provincial exam. But there's still good questions. There's still good practice. Okay, so what you can do now is you can use the time, the rest of the class, to just do some work. Here's what you've got. You have a couple things you could be doing. Some of you might still be working on the, I think everybody now has handed in, except for maybe 1 or 2 people, the fuel economy hand-in. So that should be done first, right? That's way overdue. Get that done first if it's not done. Then I gave you a practice test the other day. If you don't have it because you weren't in school, you can always download it from the blog here, right? So you could work on that if you haven't already finished that. And if you have finished the practice test, you're ready to go. Hang on, let me just log in here. If you're ready to go for the test tomorrow, okay, and you're done this practice test, this guy here, the other thing you could be doing is you have a vehicle finance hand-in, and remember I showed you yesterday that the vehicle finance hand-in, you find it on EDSB, so you go to your EDSB, you go to your class, and then you can find it right here. You can download it from there, okay? Remember I showed you last class that there was one question where I couldn't get the link to work here at school? I tried it last night at home and it worked just fine. It's the same link that we had on the lesson we did last week, or I guess now, was it 2 weeks ago? The government website that we did on April the 27th. So let me try it again today. See, now today it works fine. So there you go. IT fixed it for me. Dun, dun, dun. So there you go. It should work for you. Message me if you can't get it to work, and maybe we'll figure out something else, okay? So that's what you're going to work on today. Okay? So you're going to work on the hand-in or just studying for tomorrow's test. Okay? So there we go. All right, I'm going to stop this video. That's all that the people who missed the class really need to know. Thanks for watching.